Because of the CBS News special report which follows, Mayberry RFD will not be presented tonight, but will return next week at its regularly scheduled time over most of these stations. The Draft Lottery, a live report on tonight's picking of the birth dates for the draft. Here at Selective Service Headquarters in Washington is CBS News correspondent Roger Mudd.
Good evening. It was 29 years ago that the first and most famous lottery number, 158, was drawn as the United States entered World War II. Tonight, for the first time in 27 years, the United States has again started a draft lottery.
The draft is a military strategy used when America didn't have enough voluntary soldiers to go to war. To be chosen in the order of call, your birthday would have to be drawn at the lottery. The lottery drawing was when every day of the year was put on a piece of paper, which was then folded and put in a blue capsule. The blue capsules were then placed in a large glass bowl. Government officials would then draw the blue capsules. If your birthday was drawn and you were between the ages of 18 and 25, you were to be drafted. The lottery was aired on every television and radio station across the states. The birthdays were then posted by date. The lottery has only been enforced once, but conscriptions themselves have been enforced 6 times. The latest draft was discontinued in 1973. Although another draft is considered unlikely by most political experts, America does have a selective service system for ensuring that the draft may be enforced again if needed. The selective service system is men between the ages of 18 and 25 register for the draft. Over half of Americans are against the draft, but it may be because they are misinformed about possible future conscriptions. If a draft were held today, it would be much different than any previous draft. If a conscription were enforced today, it would most likely be a mandatory service system.
The Congress's position is currently, it is not fair because only 1% or less of the population serve in the military. To make it fair, everyone needs to serve.
This system would include men and women from the ages of 18 to 36. This conscription wouldn't be chosen by the lottery because every American citizen could be drafted. This could make many advantages. The young person could get to choose what military system they wish to join. They would have a mandatory 18 months to serve. They would also get to choose when to serve these months. For instance, you could separate these months and serve them separately to work around your school or work schedule. This making this new conscription more appealing to Americans who don't believe in fighting or being in combat and those who have busy schedules. Charlie Rangel is one of plenty others attempting to bring the draft back. This year, Rangel is attempting to pass a bill for a mandatory service system. He quoted, "I truly believe we should have a National Draft Act before the Congress acts." Rangel himself was a veteran of the Korean War and believes serving for your country is an act of respect and responsibility every American should be a part of. Rangel stated, "We serve as a nation." Another reason Rangel is trying to get the draft back so quickly is because of the threat Syria poses, wanting a fuller, stronger military to make it safer for America before using military action on Syria.
John McCain, the Arizona 1st District Representative, is another candidate agreeing for the draft to be brought back. Although he believes it would take an all-out World War III to make the draft necessary, he believes in the mandatory service system, along with Rangel. McCain wishes to have a strong military for not only the wars we are in now, but for possible future wars. Both Rangel and McCain believe a mandatory service system would make not only a stronger military, but a better America. The military teaches young men and women responsibility and teamwork. If every American had to learn these skills, crime rates would potentially go down, making it a safer, stronger America.
It could cause the crime rate to go down because a lot of young men and women who may not have gotten enough discipline or maybe didn't learn to respect each other enough when they were in high school or wherever, when they get into the military, they have to learn to work together with other people. They have to learn to work as a team. They have to depend on other people. They have to respect other people's jobs and positions. And I think it would be a very positive thing. And I think that the crime rate would go down.
Although there are many positive things about a draft or mandatory service system, there are many negative things as well. One of the main reasons many Americans are against the draft are because the previous drafts have had devastating effects on some families. The wars where drafts were enforced, such as Vietnam, were usually very unpopular wars, leading to many American soldiers' deaths, thus leading to protest. The most popular forms of protest were draft card burning and draft dodging. Draft card burning was a symbol of resistance for the draft. Although burning your draft card didn't change the fact you were being drafted, many considered it being very disrespectful towards your country.
And as far as burning your draft card, it was a way of protesting, I suppose. But I didn't look like it would be something I would do. I thought it was kind of a dishonorable thing to do, mainly because I looked to my father and my uncles, that they had been drafted for World War II or Korea or whatever, and they had done their time in the service. So I thought it was an honorable thing for me to do.
Draft dodging was a completely different form of disrespect and resistance. Draft dodging was when an American citizen would move to a different country while the draft was in place. Many draft dodgers moved back to America after the war was over. Many Americans took it as if they were dodging their responsibilities to their country. Many veterans especially took it to offense because they were pinning their responsibilities to more American men.
So therefore, if you're a citizen of that country, you should stand up and do whatever is asked of you to do to be a part of that country, actually.
One of the main reasons why it was so disrespectful is because if you had a good reason why you could not be drafted, such as religious beliefs, there were other ways you could fulfill your responsibilities, such as volunteering at a local government-ran facility, such as most hospitals and nursing homes, until your service was complete. There are many other reasons why people are against the draft. Of course, one of the biggest reasons is because it's hard for young men and women to leave their friends, family, and lives behind. The fear factor is another reason why Americans aren't fond of the draft. After hearing of all the devastations the war had brought, they were fearful to leave their homes with the thought that they might not be coming back. It's also very difficult to spend the beginning of your adult life from basically everything you know, potentially affecting your schooling or careers. It would be difficult for most people to take a break from their busy lives for long periods of times, thus adding it up, making it difficult for Americans to see the positive sides of the draft. There are many pros and cons of having a draft in America. It is seeing what is better for this country in the present and near future.